All right. So my first question is, did you ever get in trouble at school, and what for?
So I was a very good student in school. It was very rare for me to get into trouble that I started. Now, in middle school, I had a lot of issues with people bullying me because I looked different, because I spoke Spanish. My haircut was at least a year behind the times in the United States. My clothes were also, not trendy. When we moved to the United States, my parents shopped at Abuelo and Abuela shopped at Payless and like Walmart, stuff like. I mean, they sold clothes, they sold shoes. Anybody moving to this country would assume that would be okay. But kids tend to have their own opinions,
Yeah.
as we know, and sometimes they make fun of the most innocuous stuff, and that makes you feel a little bit weird. And that's some of the concerns that I always have for you when you go to school. Make sure you look the part, right? You've ironed your clothes, you look clean, you brush your teeth, and we hound you about that all the time. But I would say that I only had one issue in school where the bully got a little bit out of control, and dad had to get involved. But that was not something that I started. It was something that dad finished somehow. He went to the school and had a conversation with somebody and resolved it. But I was always a very shy kid. I was a very introvert kid, which is very different than how I am today. So I grew out of that really quickly. Good question, though.
Thanks.
What's the next one?
My second question is, what is one rule you hated from your parents that secretly makes sense now?
That is a good one. I think that, growing up in Panama, one of the biggest rules was you must be in the house when the street lights come on. And that was always a rub for me because we're always outside with our friends. We grew up in a very small town. You've been there when you visited Panama. So everybody knew everybody. All the kids knew everybody. All the adults knew everybody. And usually I would adhere to that. Street lights come on, I'm inside. But one time I did not. I noticed the street lights were on and I ignored it because I was in front of my grandmother's house. So I assumed I was okay. You look out the window, you could see me. But the rules are the rules. And because I did not adhere to the rules, grandma came out of the house and was really bothered by that, to the point where I was embarrassed in front of my friends. Needless to say, I didn't do that again. So following the rules is important regardless of the conditions. But it makes sense now because as an adult, you always want to make sure there's some sort of a routine that kids can adhere to. When it gets dark, it is just safer to be in the house, especially if you are out of sight, right? My grandmother would know I was outside. I could be anywhere in the town, right? But when the street lights come on, it doesn't matter where I am. I should be in the house. So whether she could see me, I didn't know that she could or couldn't. She probably didn't even check. But what she did know is the street lights were on and I wasn't inside. So that made her worry about where I was. So I understand that now even more so deeply as a dad. Which is why we don't really let you outside when it's pitch black. Because, what are you doing out there? It's dark.